Good evening, race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series as we are here, race number 2 in the round of 12. So we'll see who can maybe grab that win, get themselves advanced, and move on to the next round. But they are under qualifying right now, and we are going to get to our typical pre-race festivities. We'll get the 2 national anthems done and dusted. We'll get the call to the to start the engines, and then we'll get this thing fired off. So, Carlin, we're joined in the booth by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and get us started with the pre-race festivities?
We are back. And we're back at Michigan. Woohoo!
Yep, everything's set up. We just got to get those national anthems, then we'll be good to go.
Yeah, we can roll through those right now, and another advance and stuff. Let's see, session. Yeah, we got a minute, so we'll play the American anthem real quick.
We good? National anthem for the USA, and now we just got one more item of business to take care of as the drivers are getting in their cars, buckling in. It's time to give them that call to start their engines here tonight. We'll turn it to our third member of the booth, my son Colton, for those famous words.
Drivers, start your engines!
That call means it's time to get this thing going here tonight. 65 laps at the beautiful Michigan International Speedway. We got our lineup here for tonight. Looks like 24 cars going to be looking to take the green flag here tonight. Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown of tonight's starting order?
Quick rundown of the starting field here tonight. It's going to be Joshua Duncan on the pole here in the number 77 with Dylan Jacobs on the outside. Jay Monin and Matthew Hake will make up row number 2. Row number 3, Ron Millum with Dylan Emerson. Richard Covington Jr. and TJ Haley will make up row number 4. Row number 5, Cody Handler and Michael Garcia. Tiffany Ellis and Harry Krantz make up row number 6. Joshua Smith and Harper Capps make up row number 7. Row number 8, Kelly Akron with Cody Brewer. Row number 9, Austin Smith with Bruce Spencer. The rest of the fields lined up here will be in that 10th row, Kyle Emerson along with Thomas O'Connor. Will O'Connor and Charlie Stafford in row number 11. And row number 12, Brian Roy and Kent Bice.
Good looking field here, and it looks like we'll get 23 to start the race here. Looks like Kent Bice not out there, at least at the moment, but Josh Duncan and Dylan Jacobs on the front row for this thing. And we're here in Michigan. I think the only thing that would make Michigan better, if there's anything, is if they'd ever get a chance to put some lights out here on the track. You know how I love me some night racing. But then again, Auto Club's got lights, and it's no longer a track in real life. So I don't know. Maybe that's the kiss of death by spending the money to put the lights out there. But either way, looking forward to a good one out here tonight. Again, 23 cars set to take the green flag. 65 laps here. Race number 2, as mentioned, for the round of 12 was last week we had Martinsville, but we won't talk about that. That was we'll just let that one in the dust. We got a good one hopefully here tonight, and we'll see who is potentially going to move themselves on to the next round of the playoffs, as we only got one more after tonight, and that is Kentucky coming up next week with favorite childhood cartoon paint scheme. So already looking forward to that one, but I'm always looking forward to Michigan here. I know my co-commentator is as well. It's time to get these drivers fired off here tonight. The pace car in pit lane. Barney's got that green flag ready to wave. And we're racing here at Michigan.
And away they go here, heading down into turn number 1. Getting close together there. There's multiple lines here at Michigan, and that's what we love, the racing that can be had here. And, you know, cars need to kind of give each other a little space, but it looks like maybe a little bit 3 wide on the exits. Get back here just a little bit farther, get that Lego machine stays off that wall, and then if we do, so we're going to keep it straight down that front straightaway, or back straightaway.
Some good looking paint schemes out there, and this is the best part right here of Michigan. We got 4 wide almost there as the cars got room to go 4 wide, but it doesn't mean it can't get sketchy out there. And the 11 Barry Krantz looked like he backed out of that one, and Harry should have been the victor last week. He dominated the race there at Martinsville. Even though there was a lot of cautions, he was still the one that was at the front, but unfortunately the ending ended up catching up to him, and he got involved in an incident and took his chances of moving right on to the next round right out the window. But it ended up being a pretty decent race to the finish after everything was all said and done, and it was Thomas O'Connor that ended up taking home the victory. But here at Michigan, it's kind of anybody's game here, but you got to be smart about it. You got to make sure you settle the car in there. You don't want to wrangle it too much. You can put the car wherever you want, but you don't want to get too aggressive because the track not that banked. It will wear off some tires here a little bit. But right now, Josh Duncan doesn't mind being out front, turning the fast lap of the race with 38.09. Dylan Jacobs, Dylan Emerson, Matthew Hake, Ron Millam for your top 5, then Michael Garcia, TJ Hanley, Richard Covington Jr., Tiffany Ellis, and Cody Handler for your top 10.
Yeah, and the return of the cars' paint schemes are back on the track.
It's good. Good move.
By both drivers, Tiffany Ellis and the number 88, a red machine, and then the blue, the light blue there, number 21 for Richard Covington Jr. So, and right now they're going to be battling, not battling, but those tails are right behind TJ Hanley.
Still waiting for my train of paints to finally work here, as I got a lot of white cars out there right now. So I don't even know who's racing who at this point. But either way, yeah, Richard Covington out there in the blue Lightning McQueen paint scheme, the Dynaco, good looking paint scheme out there, and courtesy of Tiffany Ellis. I'm sure she does some really good paint schemes out there, and I know she obviously does hers. I know she does Richard Covington Jr.'s paint scheme as well. But we'll see if one of them McQueen paint schemes can get to the front here and grab a victory to move on to the next round. But the tasty number 18 out there, you got to keep an eye on that one too. You got Oreos, you got Reese's.
My favorite.
Both of them good on their own. How do you feel though about the Reese's Oreos, Jimmy?
Now let's do it. It's a cookie and it's Reese's. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's I have to say, what would have to be one of my favorites, and you put them all together in one shot. So, matter of fact, I had some chocolate peanut butter ice cream just the other day. So wasn't Reese's, but it was really good eating that. But right now, great racing so far.
Hold you over till the Reese's.
Yeah, the Easter Bunny's coming soon. You get get all kinds of candy or float around the house for the rest of the year, or at least until Halloween when the next round batch of candy comes to the house. But great racing throughout the pack here. Brian Roy got out a pretty decent run there on the number. Who's that in front of him? Number 43. Is they gotta go wide? Hold your breath.
Nothing to see here. Just some good racing here and some good saves as we go 3 wide to 33. We thought about sliding up there, but the 43 on the outside there, holding position. And man, it's racy out here at Michigan as it usually is. But good start here from the field as we're already on lap number 8, and Josh Duncan still leading the way. But the 5 of Dylan Jacobs trying to work that lower line to get up there outside of him and maybe eventually in front of him, maybe getting a bit of a run there, a better run surprisingly on the bottom line as compared to the top line. And the 5 of Jacobs going to lead into turn 3, but still some good battling side by side. And then right behind him, side by side battle between the 13 of Hake and the 6 of Dylan Emerson. Slight advantage for Dylan Jacobs coming out of the corner, but again, your leader at the line, still Josh Duncan.
Yeah, outside line holding its own here. Obviously a little bit longer around, but you know, some drivers get pretty comfortable running up there, and you know, there's nobody. He doesn't have to worry about anybody but the wall that, you know, getting too close to on that right side there. And see a lot of drivers kind of coming down into the center there, but the 5 falling, tucking in behind the 7, try to get a run here. Down through 3 and 4, goes to the lower side. 77 is going to stay high. But again, the 77 just keeping the momentum up. And, you know, unless the 5 clears and moves up, the 77 is going to have that continued momentum on the outside. So it's on the 5 to make the pass, slide up, take the momentum away from the 7 in order to make the pass complete. But see the 13 running down the lower side as well. But the 64, Maker Garcia getting pretty close to the wall there. There's a 21, Richard Covington Jr. makes his way up past a few cars. So some people moving a little bit, but biggest mover of the race of this early on is going to be the number 18 or Reese's Oreo machine, up 8 spots up to P number 12.
I thank everyone for tuning in here tonight for the playoffs here for the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe, get you in touch with everything that we have to offer as again, the season coming down towards the end, but we still got plenty of racing yet to go. The playoffs just started last week with Martinsville, but we are having a good one here so far at Michigan, and the laps are ticking away pretty quickly here with these next-gen cars. These drivers doing a fantastic job. Certainly not for lack of racing. They are putting these cars all over the place. We've seen multiple times with 3 wide. We've seen dabbles with 4 wide here and there, and so some little peaks at 4 wide, but the drivers, for the most part, being smart about it, and they know it's still early in the race. They want to keep 4 wheels on the ground and pointed in the right direction, and so far so good here as we still see Josh Duncan in the lead. Newman in second though, or at least battling for second. Dylan Emerson trying to work around at that number 5 as they're side by side down the backstretch. Emerson on the outside, Jacobs on the inside. Jacobs just can't get the inside line to work all the way through the corner. He dives it down there into turn 3 again. 3 wide now as Dylan Emerson to the middle of the track, and we'll see if the side draft works here. May have a new leader at the line, just barely, as by 1/100th of a second, Dylan Emerson, your new leader here at Michigan.
And the new car into the mix here, into the front, the number 91 of Ron Millen poking that number 91 up there, followed by the number 13 of Matthew Hake. They're trying to get back up in there as well. So battling up front here early on. We're on 13 of 65. Now I did get, obviously I get a little intel for some lappage by some of the drivers out there. They send me a little message every now and before the race, and I take it with a grain of salt until we see what's on track. But it gives me an idea, and I don't put that information out until obviously the those laps kind of go by and we start getting those pit stops. So should have a few pit stops here tonight on and I'm hoping to see them be green flag pit stops. But right now Josh Duncan's still out front from the pole, leading this thing here, running that high side like a champ. And Ron Millen now at P number 2, followed by Dylan Emerson, and P number 3, Matthew Hake, Dylan Jacobs for your top 5.
Jimmy, these drivers wouldn't lie to you about the fuel mileage. They wouldn't do something crazy like that just to throw you off or anything like that. I mean, we can mess up all on our own. We don't need anybody else's help to make any kind of mistakes out here in the booth or on the track for that matter. But me and Jimmy will finally get a chance to get back in the car here coming up this next weekend with the Sebring 12-hour event coming up, and. We'll both be in the GT3 car. Not going to be on the same team. We're going to be running separate time slots here. So it'll be myself, Chris Hamilton, and Dave Tilford taking on the time slot number 1 starting Friday night, and then Jimmy's going to be with Larry taking on this is the second or third time slot. Either way, starting Saturday morning. So
the third one, I think. I think it's third.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see our third win here in the past few seasons here, as we've been doing pretty well at Sebring. So high hopes, but it's never probably a good thing to have high hopes when it comes to getting into official racing. I know you want to hope for the best but plan for the worst, but more often than not that plan goes out the window on lap 1. So we'll see how everything plays out here, but heck of a race here so far for Pit Road Speed Limit Racing, as man, it is tight racing, it is close racing, there's bump drafting, there's moving around, as a good battle here. Matthew Haken out to the inside, and a little bit of a smooch there to Dylan Jacobs, as I've seen that a couple times now. We've seen that some of the cars get down and kind of use the apron to maybe help the car rotate around the corner a little bit. You can do that if you know what the car is going to do, if you practice it a little bit, and it can help you rotate around a little bit, but it's not for the faint of heart. You can lose that back end very quickly in a big move there by the 21 of Covington to get down to the bottom, and now the 8 of Hanley trying to move up here as well. So the tides maybe shifting a little bit here later in the run, and maybe some of the drivers that were saving their tires starting to make their way up towards the front. Dylan Jacobs still holding on to second. Ron Millam is right there in third. Josh Duncan still, though, is your leader. I think there's only one lap maybe so far in this race that he hasn't been in front.
Yeah, like I said, he's just using that high side to his advantage right now, and nobody's kind of going up there and stealing that momentum away when he gets when he is out there. But it does look like he's going to take pit entry here on lap number 18. So it's the window, Carl, and I know that's the way what's going to happen. And here, some drivers are going to stay out just a little bit longer. But that's just the first lap of first pit stop of many that's about to happen, as your leader has come down by themselves here early on lap number 18.
Oh, I mean, we said it before. We talk about it probably more often on your super speedways, that it's great to be in the lead. Any kind of issues you're going to have behind you, unless somebody takes you out, but you're going to use more fuel. And Josh Duncan has been in the lead here, pushing that air around for everybody here tonight so far. And he maybe has used more fuel, as now we'll see Michael Garcia bring the 64 in to pit lane. Looks like Jay Monin going to bring in the 67 as well. So beginning part of the pit cycle here, as we've already seen a few cars come into the pits. Josh Duncan down and away. We'll see when the rest of the field comes in, and how much this is going to hurt or help Josh Duncan. Certainly a short pit sometimes can get you an advantage getting out there on those fresh tires early, but he doesn't have any drafting help right now. And now we'll see some of the leaders coming into the pits, quite a few of them. In fact, just about everybody but TJ Hanley, as Hanley's going to stay out there for another lap. And looks like Charlie Stafford going to stay out there, as well as Harper Caps. Surprisingly, some aggressive entries there from a lot of the drivers, but no black flags as of yet, knock on wood. So great job by all the drivers coming into the pits. We just got 3 more, Hanley, Stafford, and Caps, to come in and complete our pit cycle. It looks like Dylan Jacobs shot through his pit boxes there by a small margin, but that's going to lose him a margin on the track here. As taking a look at who will end up most likely cycling out as your leader, the 77 here of Josh Duncan. Just had a white monster this morning, so the paint scheme looks mighty tasty there. And we'll see if he's got the energy to get himself the win here tonight. Now he's starting to come by the field, but you see he's still going to pass quite a few cars here that were drafting for an extra lap or two. And that short pit not working out here for the 77. He's going to have a lot of cars that he's going to still have to pass. He's still back there in 11th, which should ultimately end up being about 8th as Hanley, Caps, and Stafford now in the pits.
Yeah, so a few more drivers into the pits here, and trying to look at the pit time to see how long he was in there, because Josh Duncan had a 46.8.
Yeah, 15.43, so it was about average.
Yeah, a little bit longer than some of the drivers that were up front with like only a 45.6. So you had a great stop there by Thomas O'Connor at number 18, which has netted him a lot of spots there with a 44.67. So crushing the entry there for the 18 here this cycle. I mean, that's one way to do it, making a lot of positions up, and the 18 was already on a march forward, and just gained a few more spots from that excellent pit entry. So good job there by the 18. Now in Pete number 4, as he has number 21 of Richard Covington Jr. and Ron Millam in front of him in that 91, looking to maybe get around or take advantage of it right now to settle on in, and has that 6 on his tail. I'll go ahead and bring up the little fancy numbers there on the side. You can see how many positions your favorite driver has gained or lost or maintained. A few drivers still in the same spot they have been since they started, and that's a good sign. But a lot of green up towards the front there, if it's only by a spot or by a few. But Thomas O'Connor, you can see that big number 16 sitting up there, P number 4. Cody Brewer with a nice 10-spot gain here so far as we're on lap number 24 to 65. Also, Brian Roy at number 82 breaks the top 10, up 13 spots. So go back and see that purple number Joker machine. We've talked about that paint scheme a few times now. Always stands out. It's a kind of a different color. Don't see many purple cars out there very often, and it's a good looking one here at that. So just a good job there for the 82 so far.
I was just talking about Brian Roy and explained why he got into the top 10, but doesn't help when I have myself muted here in Discord. No. So that would be why.
You were too quiet, so I figured I'd just start talking again.
yeah. Well, I was completely muted. So there's that. But the 82. Got to give a shout out to the crew, because they had the fastest pit stop out of anybody with a 43.68 combined time there. As of course, as soon as we talk about him and show him on the screen, the 82 gets into the wall. But it's gained him 13 positions here on the track altogether from starting shotgun on the field. So good start here for the 82, but none better than that 18 out front of Thomas O'Connor, gaining 16 positions after starting back there in 20th. So the 18 of Thomas O'Connor again, maybe looking to go back-to-back here and grab himself another victory here in the playoffs, get him some bonus points for the next round. But right now, out front, it is the 5 of Dylan Jacobs. Blew through his pit box by a smidge. Didn't cost him out there on track, as he is your leader by about a third of a second over Ron Millam, Richard Covington Jr., Thomas O'Connor, Dylan Emerson for your top 5, then Cody Brewer, Josh Duncan, Matthew Hake, Cody Handler, and TJ Hanley for your top 10.
Go back to the field here just a little bit. Check on our drivers in the back half. There's the number 28 with Charlie Stafford back here, and B number 15 up 7 spots. So starting way back there, but starting to get up into that midfield here. So pretty decent run so far for Charlie, as he's following number 33 of Austin Smith, who is also up a few positions here, Pete number 14. So I just love watching these cars go around here, though, to be honest, Carl. I mean, we talk about Michigan and how much fun it is here to just watch them, but just so many lines. Like nobody's like nose to tail hardly ever, except maybe down straightaways a little bit.
But want to send an apology out to everyone out there because I knew something didn't seem right with because I didn't think it was Thomas O'Connor that won last week. It was Dylan Emerson. Looking at the race results, I looked at the previous race winner, but there were some issues with the sessions here tonight. So technically, Thomas O'Connor won the first session, even though it does not count at all. So he is your defending winner from Michigan from earlier tonight. Again, not that it matters, not that they even race at all, but it was Dylan Emerson that won last week at Martinsville to lock himself into the next round. So we'll see if the 6 can go back-to-back here tonight. But it's been a pretty dang good start here as we're just starting at lap number 29 here. Dylan Jacobs is in the lead, and he's been up there towards the front pretty much this whole race. You're starting in second. Just got to the lead a couple times, got his nose out front, but I don't believe he led a lap until we got through the first pit cycle here. But it looks like, roughly around 20 laps is where the drivers are going to be coming in on fuel. Josh Duncan pit on lap number 18. Should be able to save, a lap or two here throughout the rest of the race to make sure he only needs one more pit stop. But that's what it looks like. It looks like we're going to see 2 pit stops from the drivers out here tonight. And based on what we've seen so far, love to see this thing go as green as possible. And definitely...
oh, caution.
Well, I said got too excited. I was going to say if we could see an all-green race here, but it looks like Matthew Hake involved in this one. So we'll take a look back and see what happened. It's like already happening there. I'm not sure if he lost it on his own or we got a little bit of help. But that right there is what's going to bring out the caution. But if we can take it back and see what happened off of turn number 4. A little brush of the wall and maybe a little overcorrection to try and get off the wall. And does a little bit of lawn maintenance and then a little hop right through the grass. And man, that thing just snapped to the right. And luckily for some of the cars there in the back, he was able to, well, they were able to avoid him. There was nothing he could do to avoid it, but a little bit of a crabbing going on there for the 13. Surprisingly, no meatball. So, I mean, he's got that going for him, but I think he's still going to have to bring that thing in and take a fast repair.
Yeah, at least they have the fast repairs here tonight. But now you got to be thinking, you were just in. And I think somebody that kind of benefits from this pit stop here a little bit is that number 77 from Josh Duncan.
I mean, get himself up with the field. It's definitely going to help him to save that lap or two if he needed to. I think he would have been able to do it regardless. But it'd be interesting to see if anybody decides to come into the pits here because you're not going to make it to the end. You're still going to need a pit stop. But I mean, heck, if you got the tires, you've been on the gas here for about 10 laps on tires here. So. Yeah, I would agree with you. I would say bring that car in for a new set of tires and get back out there and see what you can do. I mean, the drivers do have unlimited tires. That's why I see quite a few drivers coming down into pit lane. Is there anybody staying out at all? Looks like maybe Jay Monin to get a lap back here in the 67 as he is your lucky dog. So he'll be coming around here, and we'll probably see him come into the pits this next time by as well. But we are going to be right about at the halfway point, just past it, when we get this thing back to green.
Yeah, great race so far. Only one kind of caution here at the end, or right in kind of a weird spot. I guess if they were going 18 laps, it really kind of like I said, throws that wrench out there. So they got 32 laps. Excuse me. Yeah, cat math. We got 32 laps remaining here, still, so drivers coming down, getting pit stops and fuel and tires if they need it here. Some damage there on the 67, which is probably why the 67 was behind, but hopefully he can get that fixed. He's got some, the front bumper was massively pushed in. Let's see if he can. No fast repair taken, so.
Interesting. I mean, the drivers do have 2 faster pairs to be able to use for the race, so maybe just deciding to save one for the back half of this race. And you see him, he's sitting there now, hoping the pit crew could get a little bit of damage repaired, but now he's going to pull back out because the rest of the crew out there on the track is coming to the pit entry, so he's going to be able to get caught back up because we're going to get this thing back underway. Dylan Jacobs is your leader. Thomas O'Connor in second. Dylan Emerson, Ron Millum, Richard Covington Jr. for your top 5. Then Josh Duncan, Joshua Smith, Cody Brewer, TJ Hanley, and Tiffany Ellis now for your top 10. Biggest mover of the race. The 18 up 18 into second. Charlie Stafford up 10 spots as well. Biggest fallers of the race as we got Jay Bonin. He's seen right there, the 67. He's down 20 spots after starting up there in third. And Matthew Hake down 15 after starting up there in fourth. But Jimmy, we are just past that halfway point, so you know what time it is? I think it's time for a little Love to Hear It.
Love to hear it.
Sights and sounds here from the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series at Michigan International Speedway, and fortunately back under caution here, as we had a caution almost right when we started the little love to hear it, and now we have one to end it. So we'll see. I'm sure these drivers come in. We'll take a look back and see what happened on the what brought out this caution right here. Looks like Cody Handler involved in this one.
Yeah, there's a few that happened just before that, though. Is coming down the front stretch here. I thought the caution was going to fly here when Brian Roy and Joshua Smith get together, end up going for a ride down through the grass. Brian Roy comes up on the track, and everybody's able to avoid him, but then shortly down the road here, I think it was the same lap, so probably lucky for them. Right here's what happened as the 19 of Cody Handler goes for a ride, blocking it up here. Surprisingly well. It's usually these cars, and you can see just how much not much control the car goes once you lose it here. These next gens are horrible when it comes to you're losing it and catching it. So if you can just stay away from not getting hit or not hitting something, you know, it's going to be here. But we got 20 laps to go, Carl, and you know, we got you obviously got another lap here under caution at least. So these drivers might make it for the rest of the way, but how much will they have to save here early on? And, you know, how many drivers will be like, all right, no, I'm going to get my chance, because some people are going to save a little bit here. You know, will caution come out, you know, and then they have to go to a green-white checker, and then they don't have enough fuel, and then next thing you know, everybody's pitting again anyway, so it's going to be a close one. So I don't know if another caution would seal the deal on fuel. But right now they are extremely close. I could see somebody in towards the back or mid-pack here. I'll go pull up the tower here a little bit. You can see there's 23 drivers on the lead lap here. So everybody's out there is on the lead lap. So if I'm in the back, I don't know, 10 maybe, I'm probably going back in and topping off the fuel.
Yeah, first getting to the cars being tough to handle when it comes to getting out of shape. If you can catch it right away and you're not too crazy with the corrections, you'll be fine. There's a saving point for these cars, but you need to feel it right away. It's really when you get just a little bit too aggressive with trying to save it, the overcorrection, when the car finally hooks up, you're not going to save it, because it usually snaps. It snaps one way or another, whichever way you're turning. Once it gets grip, it gets grip in a big way. As far as the fuel, I think these drivers should be good to go. I mean, I think just a little bit of saving just right here under the pace laps here, getting ready to go back to the greens, should be enough for everybody, and didn't see anybody come in to top off on fuel. I see everybody. Oh yeah, it's Charlie Stafford in there right now. Yeah, so one car back in there to top off. But I think, you know, we've seen early on 18 laps for your leader, but you know, I would think just a couple laps here under caution will certainly help that out here. And I think Dylan Jacobs will probably be full throttle here for the entire way. But it doesn't mean you're not going to, just every once in a while, keep an eye on that fuel, just in case you're all of a sudden, you know, maybe the wind shifted and you're burning a little bit more fuel for the end of this run. But we are down under 20 laps to go. It's Dylan Jacobs and Dylan Emerson on the front row, which Dylan has the hot shoe here tonight, or will it be TJ Hanley, Thomas O'Connor actually getting win in the playoffs? Not the win I was trying to credit him with last week, when it was actually just earlier tonight. Harry Krantz certainly would like to have a bounce back after last week at Martinsville, where he could have won the race very easily had it not been for some incidents that he was involved in at the end of the race. Josh Duncan has led a ton of laps here. He was your pole sitter, but he's back there in 7th, but at least he's back on the same pit strategy as everyone else right now. Pace car in, green flag out, and we're racing again here at Michigan.
Good start by the whole field. Even up front, everybody was pretty even launch throughout. It looked like I'm trying to catch maybe back a little bit, but we have another incident with Kelly Akron. Let's go back here. It's still green right at the moment. We'll go see what happened to Kelly Akron. It's spinning the tires and getting in the wall, so towards the back of the field. He
kept it straight.
He kept it straight, more than likely.
And then he didn't, but there was nobody around him, so I'm guessing that's why the caution still didn't come out at that point. But Certainly going to be a long way to get back to the field for Kelly Akron. But the field now starting to single file out here at the front. The front maybe 10 or so cars, single file, and you have to go all the way back there to 11th and 12th position right now with Austin Smith and Ron Millam battling side by side. But just as I say it, they go into the corner. Now they're 3 wide back there. You get the 18 and Thomas O'Connor trying to move up on the inside here, but he's actually going to lose some spots as he's going to drop back with Harry Krantz moving up on the outside. It seems right now, Jimmy, that the outside line, or at least, kind of the middle line, is where you want to be to make passes. You see Krantz right there making a great run through the corner. Going to move up another position. Dylan Emerson up there in front of him right now. Will Emerson stay to the top, or is he going to jump down to the bottom? No, he's going to stay to the top there. Krantz going to go to the middle, 3 wide for second, all behind Dylan Jacobs at the front. But that 11 seems to be pretty hooked up right now, Jimmy, as he moves now up after starting 6th on the restart. He's quickly up to 2nd.
Yeah, and you can quickly, I know we've talked about this before at this track, you can quickly burn up your tires here, probably quicker than you think you are. Just overdriving a little bit, so you gotta be careful. Don't use them tires up too early. At 15 laps is still quite a ways. You pretty much burn a set of tires up here in about 10 laps before it's like a steep drop off. You're running, whatever, you're running 38s, and all of a sudden now you're running 39s, almost 40s. The drop off's pretty steep if you abuse the tires here. But he doesn't want that 5 to get away, so he's got to drive it a little bit, aggressive here to kind of keep pressure on that 5, or maybe get that 5 to really use up them tires. A great battle on back from 2nd all the way back to all the way back here, Richard Covington Jr., and even farther behind him, Ron Millam there in the number 91 in 11th. So right at the tail end of this kind of single file train down the straightaways, then go back to Austin Smith here, and then your next battlefield back here. Got Jay Monin wrecking again as a yellow flag will come out with 14 laps to go. Take a look here back here, see what happens as Monin goes for a ride across. I think that's a 13.
Front end of Matthew Hake right there, yeah. As he's going to slide down and get into the grass here again. Look like any kind of damage, maybe on the left rear quarter panel there, and it looks like. I thought the 67 came down here just a little bit too much, but 13 also maybe coming up just a smidge. They meet in the middle, maybe a little bit in net code, but those back fenders stick out just a little bit. They're a little fatter, and the back end there, they got dumps like a truck back there. But either way, the 67 gets spun around here. Again, doesn't look like any kind of damage for the 13. Pretty sure the 67 kept it off the inside wall here. So no harm, no foul. We're going to go back under caution. We'll see if the 67 comes back in, I'm sure, to get some fresh tires. You kind of nuke those tires there a little bit. But right now, as it stands, getting close to 10 laps to go, you have some time, but if you're anywhere in the top 10, I don't think you take a chance of coming in and giving up track position. Maybe outside the top 10, you come in and get some fresh tires, even though you didn't have that many laps under green flag conditions. Any little bit of advantage you can get is going to help here in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end here. I know, like I said, I know the tires fall off pretty quickly, but I don't know if it's been that loud. So when they came in here at lap 45, we're on lap 53, so they're at about 10 laps. So if I can see some drivers coming in, maybe some fake outs. Oh, some passage.
Yep, that's what happens when you try and fake out right there. He faked himself out, and now Emerson, we'll see if he's able to rejoin back in the same position, or if he's going to be back right here. Looks like he's going to go backwards now and decide to come into pit lane, but that's in front of the commit line. So that might end up being a penalty. We'll see if anything pops up here. Looks like he may get away with it here. He is going to be at the back of the pack now, faking himself out, going through the grass, and now he's going to go from being at the front to being at the back. But I guess it's a luxury that you have, Jimmy. You can screw up. You can have some fun, I guess, if that was fun for him, because he's already got that win locked in
I
to
think he's
the
a
next
little.
round. So
I have to say his pride's a little hurt. Now that it's on TV.
Maybe he sneezed and he's got a leg around the car. Maybe he's got some allergies and he sneezed and he snapped the wheel to the right and spun through the grass. I don't know. We don't know what happened, but
Not saying Allegra works very good.
Well, either way, he's going to be all the way shotgun on the field now, 23rd position. Doesn't matter if he's got new tires or not. There's a lot that he's got to try and make up here at the end. And I think at this point, I mean, sure, you let it all hang out here for the end, because again, he's got nothing to lose. He's already got himself locked into the round of 8. Everyone else that's in the playoffs still looking to get themselves a win and lock themselves in. There's definitely some drivers out there not in the playoffs that love to play a little bit of spoiler as well. But taking a look, and again, Dylan Emerson with the win is good to go. The rest of the playoff drivers as follows. You got Thomas O'Connor, TJ Hanley, Richard Covington Jr., Dylan Jacobs, Kyle Emerson, Harry Krantz, and William O'Connor coming into the race were your top 8. And then 4 points back, you got Tiffany Ellis, another point back to Matthew Hake, another 3 back to Cody Handler, and then another 4 back to Cody Brewer for your 12 playoff drivers here for season. I thought we had the season number on here, but we don't. But for this season, we'll put it that way. I want to thank our sponsors here for the series, as we have In the Fence Racing, Raven Racing, Route 30 Racing, Hammer Down Motorsports, and Turtle Power Motorsports as well. Time to get these drivers back under green flag conditions, as we are now down to 10 laps to go when we get the green flag. Who's got the hot shoe? Who can get it done? Who do you think is going to do it out there in CRN Nation right now? Again, it's Jacobs, Krantz on the front row, TJ Hanley, and Duncan on the second row. Then you got Ellis, Brewer, O'Connor, Covington, Emerson, and Smith for your top 10. We had a few cars come into the pits, get some tires, but they're at the back of the field. The closest one to the front is Matthew Hake in 16th. I think it's a lot of positions he's got to gain in just 10 laps, but we'll keep an eye on the 13 and some of those other cars back there. As the pace car is in here, once again, the 5 is your control car, and we're back to racing at Michigan.
Trying to get that start. You see the little bit of accordion effect there, or slinky effect, whatever you want to call it, as the drivers trying to get their best judgment and get up in there and get a good start. And you see everybody out front pretty decent, but they're gonna be racy here. 10 laps to go. It's gonna fly by here real quick. About 5 minutes here under green before we get ourselves a winner here. At Michigan. Who's it going to be? We're about to find out, but right now Dylan Jacobs out front, TJ Hanley and the 11 of Harry Krantz battling it out.
Yeah, Jimmy, I would say it's go time. It's definitely time to put the hammer down here at Michigan. Now, any chance that you're worried about fuel, I think, is pretty much out the window with that last caution right there, as we are 3, almost 4 wide, almost 5 wide for second place right there, and all just comes back together. It looks like nothing happened. Just a couple little 2 wide battles here and there, nothing to see here. But they get back into the corners, and he seems spread out here once again. But Harry Krantz has worked his way back into second place right now. Now we're going to try and work on Dylan Jacobs to run him down here for the end. Josh Duncan has settled into 3rd. TJ Hanley right behind him in 4th. You see Tiffany Ellis looking for a way around. She's kind of blocked in right now on the outside lane right behind Thomas O'Connor, as O'Connor now drops down to the inside, trying to get that Lightning McQueen paint scheme up to the front. We got a car in the wall back in the back, but it looks like going to survive and get the 82 off the wall is Brian Roy. But it's definitely go time here at Michigan. It's time to decide who is going to get the win here tonight. Dylan Jacobs looks like he's got a pretty good handle on it for the time being, but that's only about a quarter second of a lead.
Yeah, not much of one. You can see him out there out front here from P number 11 with Michael Garcia and number 64, and everybody just kind of looking for their spot. And you see the 99 going down the lower side there, trying to make up some spots as well here. Biggest mover of the race right now is the 18. He is up 14 spots, sitting in P number 6. Has been as far up as P number 2, trying to grab the lead, but obviously just kind of taking it easy here as you're making her way around. 8 kind of in a little bit of let's go mode here, obviously trying to get up there and get he's on the podium right now, but a lot of drivers wanting these spots here for these playoff points here, but it does look like the 11 is going to get a little bit loose. Let's go check up the field. Maybe a little push there by the 8 going down in the corner is going to slow the 11 up here just a little bit. So yeah, tough break there for 11, but everybody keeps it going forward.
Lap sticking down here. It's going to be 5 to go at the line for the 5. Can Dylan Jacobs get himself the win and lock himself into the next round? Will Richard Covington be able to ride that lightning momentum and get himself a win here tonight? He's got it up to second place right now in the 21. Looks like he's got a fast number 21 as well. Starting to run down your leader, Dylan Jacobs, and you're looking to the outside right now. You'll see Tiffany Ellis still inside the top 10, but just can't make any kind of headway right now. Looking for those drivers that came in to the pits on the previous caution and not really making too much headway right now. Ron Millam is the highest running driver, the pit on lap number 53, but he's back there in 14th position, so the tires not doing enough to get him towards the front here for the end of this thing. 4 laps to go. Bit of a breakaway here, starting to spread out here at the front. Jacobs, Covington, Hanley, and O'Connor all separated here by, about a quarter second to a half a second, but you see almost kind of a 2-car breakaway right now, and that's gonna be reeled right back in because we got a big wreck in the back here. We're gonna rack it up here and have ourselves a green-white checker to finish this thing out.
Matthew Hake getting involved here, and yet another one going for a little bit of a ride here. Cody Handler, Josh Smith getting involved as well, so just go ahead and I'll see what happens.
And our first meatballs of the night as well. Looks like Will O'Connor and Josh Smith can have a meatball on this one. The 19, big impact right there for Cody Handler. Not going to walk away with a meatball, but a lot of damage right there, as you see, just kind of a tandem spinning, tandem hooking there on the backstretch. And bring us under a late race caution, and it should be late enough, like I said, that we should be going to a green-white checkered attempt to finish this thing out. So 65 laps, not going to be enough to tame these drivers here tonight for the second race of the round of 12. It's time to go overtime.
A little bit of overtime here tonight with Pit Road Speed Limit Racing. They wanted to, they delayed the race just a little bit by a mistake by the race control, accidentally forwarding that the earlier race and giving the 18 the win. But the 18 trying to make the results from the previous session. Come to life here as he's sitting in P number 4, so not too far off here as the 18 has been pretty quick here tonight. I've seen that Reese's machine up front, and a lot of drivers kind of working their way to the front. That would be the 18 of Thomas O'Connor, obviously the 13 of Austin Smith, and the number 33 showing some speed here as late in the Milwaukee machine. Even everybody in the top 5 was just gained quite a few positions. Richard Covington up 5, TJ 5, Harry Krantz is up 7. Josh Duncan only won back a few spots, but we've seen him have that just kind of off. It's been off since he came in early here. Carl hasn't been able to kind of get back out there and dominate like he was early in the race here. Tiffany Ellis up in 8th, Michael Garcia in 9th. Cody Brewer in 10th, Kyle Emerson even up 8 spots in 11th. So first half of the field doing fantastic here, making their way through the field, through pit stops and incidents and corrects and everything they need to do, putting them in a position to possibly get themselves a great finish and move on to the next round of playoff races. So we'll see how they finish here tonight as Dylan Jacobs will lead them off here when we get going back 2 by 2.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes momentum is a big thing in racing, and sometimes that can be enough to take a driver kind of out of it or in it, depending on how they're doing. And Josh Duncan certainly was riding some good momentum after getting the pole and led a bunch of laps at the beginning. But ever since he kind of came in early, put himself back half of the top 10, maybe the car just doesn't like the dirty air back there, and runs a lot better in clean air and out front, and not working for him right now, but we'll see. I mean, it's certainly not over just yet. We'll have a green, white, and checkered attempt number 1. They'll have 2 attempts here if they need it, but I'm definitely keep my eye on the front. I'll keep my eye on that 21. See again if lightning can strike again for Richard Covington and get himself a win here tonight. But TJ Hanley has been slowly working his way up towards the front here as the race gets later. He's up there in 3rd place right now. Thomas O'Connor has started in the back, but he's made his way to the front pretty quickly here. He won at Michigan earlier tonight, so why not do it again here? Why not do it again here tonight for the actual race? As he's up there in 4th. Harry Krantz again looking to make amends for last week at Martinsville, trying to get himself a win. But they're all chasing the 5 of Dylan Jacobs at the front. He'll be your control car here. Great to see that we still have 23 cars that started the field still out there on the track, and all of them on the lead lap too, Jimmy. It's not like there's anybody damaged up too bad that they're down 3, 4, 5 laps. All 23 cars that started are on the lead lap here, and realistically what that means is anybody still has a chance at the win here tonight as well, because we haven't, knock on wood, seen the big one here at Michigan just yet, but it's well past go time. It is time to decide your winner here tonight. Pace car lights are out, going to be in this time by time for overtime.
OT, baby. And obviously you see the pace car come down here off the turn here, and you gotta be careful you don't go too fast and past the pace car, you get yourself a black flag. But down into the restart zone, and the 5 is going to get a pretty early start here. 8's going to take advantage of that as well and move right into 2nd, right past the number 21, and he's not going to be enough here. Even the 11 being able to kind of sneak up in there alongside the 18. So 8 trying to get around the 5. What will happen here? We only have 2 laps to go, and this thing is about as tight as you can get up here up front.
Oh, big move there. Tried to go to the inside as the 18 on the 21. Didn't happen, and now the 21's going to get into the 8. A great save there from Hanley, as no caution on the speedway. The flag that's coming out is the white flag. 1 more lap to go here at Michigan, and it's a sizable lead for Dylan Jacobs heading off into turn 1, side by side for 2nd, as a 77 back into 2nd, trying to make a late run at this thing. They're side by side behind him for 3rd, almost 3 wide for 5th back there. But Dylan Jacobs has got a half-second lead heading off into turn 3 and 4. Unless he makes a mistake, he's got this win in the bag, and that he does. Coming off of turn number 4, the 5 is going to get the victory here tonight as Richard Covington sent down pit lane. It's going to be Dylan Jacobs in 1st. Josh Duncan fights back for 2nd. Harry Krantz is going to get 3rd here tonight. Cody Brewer and Thomas O'Connor rounding out your top 5. We'll see how it all shakes out with, I'm sure, a black flag for the 21, but it looks like maybe, oh yeah, there it is. The black flag just popping up right now, so not sure if the top 10 is fully official, and if it's per iRacing, or if race admins will take a look at this thing. But either way, our top 3, Jacobs, Duncan, and Krantz for tonight's race.
A few drivers going across the sideways or sneaking down as low as possible here through the grass, trying to avoid drivers. I'm gonna keep going through here, just kind of see what happened. As you can see, Tiffany Ellis going for a ride here before the start finish line. Brian Roy trying to. Everybody gets to this point, man, and they're just like, just full throttle. Don't worry about missing. Just hit it, drive it. And yeah, unfortunately for Ellis, she had was in the top 10 there, coming down around that corner and going for a ride here late as they were battling there for number 3. So a tough battle up front here, but we will see Dylan Jacobs, Josh Duncan, and Harry Krantz up here in the booth here shortly, I'm sure. We'll go ahead and display the final results of tonight's race, at least unofficially. If they decide to change those, they can do that, obviously. But Dylan Jacobs is going to be your winner, with Josh Duncan, Harry Krantz, Cody Brewer, Thomas O'Connor finishing in 5th, Austin Smith, Kyle Emerson, Michael Garcia, and Harper Caps. And Jay Monin for your top 10. Dylan Emerson, Will O'Connor, Brian Roy, Kelly Akron, Matthew Hake, Charlie Stafford, Bruce Spencer, Ron Millum for your top 18. And then 19th, Joshua Smith, TJ Hanley finishes all the way back in 20th. Tiffany Ellis in 21st, Cody Handler, Richard Covington Jr., and Kent Bice for your 24 car field. So tough break there at the end. It's probably the worst time. It's probably the pinnacle of frustration comes out too. So sometimes it's hard to bite the tongue when you're in your voice channels with your league mates when something like that happens, when you're so close to getting a great finish and you end up in the back of the pack. So I always like to be a fly on the wall, is don't mind a little drama, especially when you're a broadcaster.
Gives us something to talk about. Yeah, we like to sometimes create our own drama at times as well. But we're going to get our top 3 here in for their interviews. And we'll start off with 3rd place finisher here tonight, the 11 of Harry Krantz. Harry, a good finish here tonight. You just snuck in there to get yourself 3rd place. It's got to feel at least a little good. Maybe not fully taking away the pain of Martinsville last week, but it's got to feel good to at least get yourself a good finish here tonight, a podium, and maybe get yourself back in the running here for the round of 8.
Yeah, definitely feels good. When bringing up Martinsville, yeah, that scares me just even thinking about that race. But yeah, beginning of the race, I did not have the pace. I thought I was gonna have to save tires a lot more than I really had to, so I was really holding back. But once these cautions started coming up, I was like, all right, let's just push. And I was able to get myself up here. I'm glad I was able to slip up in the 3rd, especially with all that chaos going on the last lap. I had to lift because it looked like Richard took out, I forget who it was, but I had to lift because of it, and I thought I was going to lose a lot of positions. And chaos occurred again, and I was able to go back up. But yeah, so good redemption round. I got good playoff points last week, so I'm glad I could still hold on to that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I gotta imagine that's going to be heavily on your mind going into Kentucky next week, and kind of looking around at where the other 11 competitors, or well, I guess 10 competitors are. For the drivers that are in the mix for those 8 spots, with 2 kind of clinched up right now, with Dylan Emerson winning at Martinsville, and now Dylan Jacobs here tonight. I maybe change your name to Dylan Krantz for Kentucky and see if it gets you a win. I mean, throw anything at the wall.
If it makes it any better, my middle name happens to be Dylan. So,
well, there we go. There we go. So yeah. Lock him in for Kentucky. He is my pick for the win. So either way, like you said, you get some playoff points at Martinsville, even though it probably should have been the win. You were very dominant there. But either way, you bounce back here with a nice podium finish and hopefully take a little momentum into Kentucky. But before we let you go and get out of here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I'd love to give a shout out to my parents and my girlfriend for always showing support. And I'd like to also shout out Josh Duncan and Thomas O'Connor for helping me out this race and whatnot. We're just talking strategy and all that. But yeah. And I'll also shout out to you guys. I love the show you guys put on. You guys do a fantastic job. Thank you guys. Yeah.
Appreciate the shout outs, and we try to do what we can up here for sure. So congrats again on the podium. We'll see you next week at Kentucky. See if you can get one of those 8 spots.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
That is your 3rd place finisher tonight, the 11 of Harry Krantz. 2nd place here tonight was the man that had the pole and led a bunch of laps at the beginning and fought his way back for a 2nd place. The 77 of 77 of Josh Duncan.
Josh, Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Gentlemen, what is going on this evening?
Oh, not much. It's it's great to see the 77 get the pole here tonight, and then you led a bunch of laps, and then you were just like flying. You were going good, and then you came in by yourself, which was kind of shocking that you came in so early, but came back, fought your way back up for a second place finish. Give us a little rundown of how your race was, because that's where it kind of seemed to go downhill when you made that first stop.
I was out front, so I was hammered down. I had one lap of fuel left. I didn't expect to be the only one to go, and I was pretty nervous about that. When all of a sudden I saw that I was one is the loneliest number going down pit road. So I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And it kind of cycled back around and turned out to be pretty reasonable. I think I was like 7th or 8th. Got lucky with the caution to catch the pack again, because I sure couldn't manage to do that under green flag. It just lost the draft and couldn't get there. And once it got caught back up, the arrow here is such an interesting thing. And I like the top line here. I like running it, and as long as I can make it work, that's where I'm going to be. And I think I showed that most of the time.
Yeah, it was, obviously Michigan and a few other tracks. It's always fun to watch, the different lines, when they work.
Yes.
Whether it's what the state of the tire is or what the state of the track is or whatever. But it's always fun to see somebody brave enough to go out there and run the top side. I know I'm not very comfortable with it, because I feel like the wall is just going to grab me and engage the emergency brake and make me slow down. But it was fun to watch the 77 rip out around there and just kind of continue the battle. And they dive down on laps 3 or 4, and you'd be all the way up there on the high side. Just drive right on by.
I pulled the old host of our switchover the one time around to get the lead back, and I said, if I'm gonna run a 77 finally, I'm gonna make it look like him too.
Well, you definitely had a good run here tonight, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And the challenge to come back to get a great finish here. So it wasn't all for nothing. Obviously, you didn't get that win here tonight. Maybe it was a slight mistake in driving through the dirty air, because we know how that can affect the cars here as well.
It did. Yeah.
We want to say congratulations, man, and hopefully we'll next week. I think you guys are at Kentucky, so hopefully we'll see you back out there and back up.
I'm excited for.
You'll be back up in the booth again. But before we let you go, give you some time for any shots you might have in at number 77.
Man, I'm so thankful for this group of people to race with, the people that watch us, and then you guys. Man, there's no others out there in terms of broadcasting. Man, I love what you guys do. Very thankful for that. Also, big shout out to Tiffany Ellis. First and second are both her paint schemes, and man, she did such a stellar job on both of them. So big shout out to her. And then again, thank you to everybody that watches this stuff, and thanks to you guys.
Well, we really appreciate the shouts as always. But for this one, and until next time, we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Yeah, thanks, man. We'll see you.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 77 of Josh Duncan. But the top spot here tonight, and I'm sure going to be feeling a little bit better now about the playoffs, is the 5 of Josh, or getting both of you guys mixed up here, the 5 of Dylan and Jacobs. I had Dylan on my mind. I kept saying Dylan so many times because we got Dylan
Jacobs.
Emerson winning the first race. We got you here, Dylan Jacobs winning the second race here of the playoffs. But man, Dylan, after Martinsville, I'm sure a lot of drivers were kind of shaking their head. It's Martinsville, it's short track racing, but it's such a beast, and it's a bear, and you finish outside the top 10. So were you sweating at all? Were you kind of thinking, okay, I need to figure it out here at Michigan and possibly at Kentucky to get myself back in the mix here?
Definitely. I wasn't too all worried about it, but it was definitely on my mind, because points are so big, and you can easily have a terrible race and go from on top of the world to fighting for your life with one race to go. And so I definitely just wanted to come out and have a good race tonight and keep myself in the playoff hunt, and just going out and winning is icing on the cake.
Well, yeah, you go from I don't want to say rock bottom, finishing outside the top 10 last week, but you go from kind of a scary spot, maybe looking on from the outside looking in, and you get the win here tonight. What does it mean for next week? Is it, do you go for some bonus points next week at Kentucky? Do you just kind of test some things out, get you ready for the round of 8? Maybe make some friends to take with you to the round of 8. It's such a relief, I'm sure, to have that win under your belt.
Oh yeah, it's a huge relief. But definitely going into next race is just try to have a good race. But my mindset, like you said, definitely goes to the round of 8 and work on those tracks more than work on next race. Honestly, got to try to lock myself into the final 4.
Is there any worry to kind of, looking ahead too much and worried about the round of 8, and all of a sudden, you have a bit of a stinker of a race, and it kind of brings a little bad taste in your mouth to that round of 8? Do you need to kind of still stick in it and finish strong here for the last race?
Oh, most definitely. Definitely still have to focus. Like I said, still got to have a good race. Got to keep momentum going. Momentum's the biggest thing in racing. I know people may not think of it like that, but you go into a race feeling good, you'll race good. You go into a race feeling like crap, you're going to race like crap.
Well, you certainly didn't race like crap here tonight. You had a good finish, and it's good enough to get you now into the round of 8. So congrats on the finish here, the win in the round of 12. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Like always, want to shout out to the fans watching on y'all's broadcast. Y'all for putting on such a great broadcast. Shout out for Tiffany for the great paint schemes tonight, finishing 1-2. And my team for always helping and working together as great as we do. And that's about it, really. And our league itself, too. Great group of guys. Glad to have everybody.
All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate the great racing you put on the track. So congrats again on the win. We'll let you go celebrate. We'll see what you can do out there with letting your hair down next week at Kentucky. And definitely looking forward to some good paint schemes from Tiffany for that one as well.
Yes, sir.
That is your winner here. You too, buddy. That's your winner here, the 5 of Dylan Jacobs getting the win. And see, maybe it's not just Lightning McQueen. It's just you got to get with Tiffany Ellis. She's going to get you that paint scheme to get to the front. And a little shout out there to Tiffany, as she unfortunately didn't have the finish that she wanted, finishing back there in 21st. And now maybe in a kind of win or go home situation for next week, and I'm sure there'll be a few drivers like that going into Kentucky. But looking forward to that one again. That is going to see some special paint schemes on there, as the drivers are going to have their favorite childhood cartoon, and I'm sure it'll give us plenty to talk about up here in the booth. And I'm sure we'll see some favorite childhood cartoons being cartoons from the 2010s and the 2000s. And me and Jimmy are just going to be up here shaking our heads, and I'm sure some of them out there in Sierra Nation will probably be like, don't even know what those cartoons are. Let's get back to some actual childhood cartoons from the good old days. But we'll worry about that next week. For now, that is it.
Roadrunner BB.
Exactly. For tonight's race. Tomorrow, we got Virtual Velocity Racing at the Lady in Black, heading to Darlington tomorrow night, so it should be a good one. Tune in tomorrow night for that. But for myself and Jimmy from the Michigan International Speedway, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.